So what's one or two things that you would, that was instrumental to you through this process? I can tell you for me, it was learning more about attachment and the fact that while I love my parents, up until the time my dad passed away almost 3.5 years ago, he was one of my best friends by far. I love my mom completely, without reserve. That doesn't change the fact that the way I was raised, there were things that caused chaos in my life that made me then turn to this inappropriate thing over here. And I'm not persecuting them for that. It is what it is, right? I can acknowledge the fact that they tried very hard and that they loved me, and there were still things that happened that made me feel unsafe around them from the standpoint of turning to them for things. Okay. So for me, learning that the way I learned to attach as a child is the way I am now attaching to the people around me. I'm creating chaos in my children's life like was brought into my life as a child. That was a huge turning point for me because I was sitting there thinking, I'm a pretty good person, but then looking back at my childhood and seeing how broken in certain respects it was and how I was creating the brokenness, that was a huge pivotal moment for me. And so that made me step back and reevaluate, how am I being as a father? How am I being as a husband? How am I being as a friend? How am I being as a leader? How am I being as a business owner, as an entrepreneur? And it made me look at every aspect of my life. And that's when real change started happening. I was sober, I was doing the homework, I was leading men, but the biggest change came from recognizing how I was creating chaos in others' lives, even though I was sober, even though I was doing good. And that's what really stripped back the curtain for me and started making me recognize that there was so much more. It wasn't just about being sober. There was so much more I had to address. That was, for me, that was a big turning point. If you like our content and find it helpful, please do me a big favor and smash that like button and go ahead and follow us. That'll help us get our content out to thousands more men that are looking for hope in this broken and dark world.